Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. This is Daybreak and we welcome your contributions. We sample them in the course of this broadcast. Eric Okeo is the former chair of the Kenya Security Industry Association. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Ayub.
Lovely having you here on the broadcast.
Same
and
here.
Many thanks for your presence here. Charles Owino, good morning.
Morning to you.
Lovely having you again. 24 hours after we were here yesterday. He is from the National Government's National Communications Center. Ahmed Ashi joins us also this morning here on the broadcast, governance and political commentator. Ahmed, thanks.
Thank you, Ayub.
So let's begin with what happened yesterday. 3 TV stations that were switched off in what the papers are calling state repression. Rea's head as the Communications Authority illegally yesterday shut down NTV, KTN and K24 for defying a controversial directive to stop live coverage of protests that, however, was declared an nullity by the High Court. 9 people were killed as at yesterday evening, about 400 injured and more than 60 arrested across the country in a day of chaos as police officers battled with thousands of protesters. Business owners suffered losses as the premises were broken into and goods carted away. Government offices in some towns, including in Kiambu County, also torched and vandalized. 27 counties witnessed the protest yesterday, the first anniversary of the events that culminated with the breach of Parliament in 2024 when Kenyans protested against the punitive tax proposals. First to you, Eric. What is your assessment and audit of the first year to mark the events of last year?
Thank you, Ayub. My assessment is that government responded in a manner of extreme bravado that led to the ultimate melee. One, there had been various notices to police station commanders about a peaceful demonstration. There was every indication that people were just coming to celebrate their loved ones who died. People heal differently, Ayub. But government responded as though it was responding to a coup. Several places that are not even protected areas, National Assembly and Parliament generally, is not protected area. It's a place where people who go there to debate are sent there by the same people who were demonstrating yesterday. So to wake up and find it razor-wired across was uncalled for. Eventually, lives were lost, businesses spoiled. Who do I blame? Government. Why? Because a number of political leaders associated with government had been spewing hate, threatening reprisal violence against the protesters. And in my view, this trouble and the destruction of property and loss of lives yesterday was caused by these people. Some of these MPs who were spewing hate just a year ago were in various police stations recording statements for being warmongers in their constituencies. Suddenly, they now knew how to transport youths from Baringo County to Nairobi. Suddenly, they now knew how to bring clubs. Another one was saying it is not going to be business as usual. A county governor was saying, you'll find us in town, and you saw what happened. And you saw the youth thanking him, saying, we are here now. I have lived long enough, I'm in my 50s, to have seen the Moi regime, to have seen the Kibaki regime, to have seen the Uhuru regime, and now this one. Governments come and go, they belong to the people. But when government responds to its citizens like this, 1 year to elections, 1.5 years to elections, the die is cast, the writing is on the wall. I shudder to imagine how it will look like in the next 2 years when we go to polls. But clearly, I have a big problem with how government responded. It's casual, it's callous. You saw envoys issue an advisory. 12 diplomatic missions signed a joint communique advising against police excesses to the demonstrators. Government should have responded through either the head of state or his spokesperson or the cabinet secretary for foreign affairs. Foreign envoys, when they are in our country and they speak to power, their response the response to them cannot come from a departmental committee chair on foreign relations, as we saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then how should that communication be? Because you have seen what Isaac Mwaura has been conveying, a lot of inconsistencies in his statements, and it had taken the response by the health CS, Adan Duale, on a specific issue about 2 days ago. What then does that miscommunication mean for the public to consume information from the government?
I like saying very little about Isaac Mwaura. I don't think he knows what he's doing. And that's why you would see, when you give a person a job they don't understand, the result will be exactly what you see with Isaac Mwaura. So, because when he issues a statement that is quickly opposed by the cabinet secretary, Aden Duale is a fairly strong character, strong-willed cabinet secretary. He's one of the few I admire in this administration. And you saw his swift response. That would mean that Isaac Mwaura be just left to be Isaac Mwaura. I don't know who he speaks for. Charles Owino would do better than Isaac Mwaura.
He is from the National Communications Center and with us in the studio, so a good time to also take his account. Ahmed, your coffee is here.
Yes, thank you.
And you're on the streets yesterday.
Yes, I think the tear gas is different. They put more things inside for these young people. Because the tear gas that I'm used to wouldn't make me faint. I was chased by very young policemen, constables, and I'm just shocked at how fit I am. I ran, I think, 20 seconds, the 100 meters at 20 seconds. You know, the fastest is at the Olympics is 10 point something. So yesterday I did a Usain Bolt. But let me tell you, I was around those young people and I was telling them not to be violent and to peacefully protest, and generally that's what they did. And I want to remember, because this is a turning point in Kenya, I want to apologize to the people of Kenya for my beard. Yesterday was a rough day. We were there standing up for freedom in this country. I want to remember Erickson Kialo, who died last year. I want to remember 14-year-old Kelvin Kennedy Onyango, who died in last year. I want to remember William Sitati, the electrical engineering student who died last year standing up for freedom in this country. There are over 60 young people who died at the dint of police action. And these are patriots whose families have not been met by the president, nor have they been recompensated, nor has there been any kind of building bridges with the children who stood up for the constitution of this country. I put it to you, Mr. Ayub, that we're at a turning point. The turning point of history, that this country has reached a place where it is impossible to turn back the clock to what happened during the first 30 years, as my fellow Mheshimiwa there was speaking about. The great Maximilian Robespierre argued that if you want to make an omelette, you have to break some eggs. The quote that has stuck to me for a very long time. And I think that the president's breaking of these eggs, our children, will simply come back to haunt him because I firmly believe that in 2027 we had to have another constitutional process through the election to remove the president from power peacefully. Now, if the president continues to break the constitution of this country in the way that he's doing, the people of this country will rise up in insurrection. Remember that I spoke about insurrection and restoration. And we are now at the cliffhangers of the insurrection. And if the government does not know how to respond to what is happening in the public, and they bring out people like Mr. Mwaura, this young man whom I tutored here at Orange House, who is a beat reporter called Mugambi, what's his name? Mugonyi, who is now an appointee at the Communications Authority. I argued that there was going to be an autocracy that was going to be bankrolled into this country. And it is now clear for all to see that the autocracy is coming. And for him to shut down the national televisions of this country is unprecedented, an unprecedented coup de grace, finishing blow on the constitution of the Republic of Kenya. I urge the president, first of all, to remove that man from office because he has made a disastrous decision. If it is not the president who asked him to turn off the TV to these people of this country and to the region. Mr. Ayuba, I suggest to you, no, Mr. Ayuba, I want to testify to you that our country is in rebellion from Kinangop to Homa Bay, to Narok, to Wasikiricho, to Ngong, where I was born. The insurrection is against the breaking of the law, that the police and the security system have a free hand to commit things that are unspeakable. Mr. Ojwang is testament enough to what has happened in this country. I suggest to you, Mr. Ayub, that the next level of repression is coming, and I predicted that. The president doesn't have any other avenue except repression. The other one is for him to resign and call a general election in this country, which he will not do. Okay. So I find it that this generation, I've called them the golden generation. For me, I joined them yesterday because I had a responsibility to stand up in the middle of them and tell them that the only way we could do things was through peaceful demonstrations. Okay. And that we could not use violence as a means to change our government. We're going to change our government at the ballot box. But the way Mr. Ruto is going, all bets are off.
Yes, Charles.
Thank you, Ayub. First of all, let me be slightly positive this morning. That today at 9 p.m. tonight in Paris, our three-time Olympic champion, Faith Kipyegon, will be trying a breaking 4-minute, 1-mile trial in Paris. So I just want to wish her the best of luck.
We all wish her.
She would have joined the demonstrations if she was here with us. Sir.
Yeah, that is our, you know, sometimes you don't only become negative for your country.
Well, Ahmed, there are also the yellow protests in Paris against President Macron.
Yes. Yes. And I don't think my good friend, and he's my very good friend, he should not patronize us with this Olympic thing. We don't want to talk about the Olympics. We want to talk about the 16 people who have died under the dint of police action in Nairobi and across the country. That is the subject.
That one we are going to discuss.
Yeah, we have plenty of time.
You're the spokesman of the government, so let us know why these people died.
No, I will answer you because we are almost same age bracket and we have been in this country for long. So I was to wish Faith best of luck as a nation. It's an important thing for Kenya, and that is what we are best known for. First of all, before I answer anything, I would want us to look at the situation, the position of our youths currently in the country, and some of the problems we are currently facing as a country. I don't know about, I know he's born in Ngong. I don't know whether he practices politics in Ngong, but Keyo and I, who come from Luo Nyanza, because you know Nyanza is big. We have Kisii, we have Kuria, and they may have different modes of politics. Today, when you go to campaign for a political seat, as you talk to youths, very few people have time to listen to you. People say, panga laini. You know, don't waste our time. We want you to panga laini. This country belongs to all of us, and it is important that each and every citizen, each and every person with a child, we try our level best to make ourselves as responsible as possible. We had a lot of complaints sometimes, some years back in Central, that alcoholism was quite a big problem, to an extent that even children, the number of children that we were getting were reducing because of alcoholism and a lot of issues. So we have a lot of challenges. There are issues on unemployment, and we should know very well that we are very volatile. And given opportunity, any slight thing can be able to strike a lot of emotions. Now, we must look at what happened yesterday objectively. I've heard my brother-in-law has used very good English, that government responded on extreme bravado, which is a great thing, okay? But first of all, yesterday was a day when, on 13th June, the police in Nairobi received a notification notifying them that there would be a peaceful demonstration, actually a peaceful procession, not even demonstration, though the word in law is demonstration, was going to take place yesterday, and that the families, the 5 families, the 4 ladies who lost their children and a gentleman who lost their brother, were the convening individuals. They were the ones convening, and they invited Kenyans to join them in that procession. I have been in touch with the National Police Headquarters, and the spokesperson told me that they never received any other notification across the country apart from that notification. So what I expected was that we were going to have a peaceful procession. And yesterday when I left this place, I went to Nation House, and I met Emeritus Chief Justice and the families who were the conveners of yesterday's peaceful procession. And we were watching live on activities in the street. Actually, I'd walked in the street, talked to the boys who were there as I was going to Nation. I walked on foot from Teleposta to Nation, and it was good. The boys were aligning themselves, preparing for the demonstration. So the Chief Justice and the family, the conveners, came down and they had a briefing, press briefing. But seemingly somebody somewhere was coordinating the activities, because immediately they started movements. I saw boys burning tires and putting on fire along Kenyatta Avenue, meaning that police would definitely react to that. And what would happen is that even the families would now not even move forward with their procession. How I wish we had a peaceful procession. But you can look at it. I can't call it was spontaneous. Across the country, you go to Kikuyu, you go to Makueni, you go to Machakos, you go to Kitengela. There was violent demonstrations and youths burning things. What I can say is that no matter what it is, whether it is President William Ruto that we don't like his face, whether it is the first time that we are having issues on unemployment, economic issues, I don't know. But what I'm thinking is that we have a vibrant constitution. Okay. And in this vibrant constitution, okay, I just want to, let me finalize. I can see you are getting bored with me. No, not bored. But I'm saying, I was just giving you time. We have time, yes. Yeah, we have more than 1 hour. What I saw yesterday, because I saw young men bold enough, yes, to beat up a police officer who was armed. And you know, this is the only time that that officer is allowed to use that firearm to defend himself. And he did his level best. He was beaten, okay, he was brought down, he never used his firearm. Okay. I saw a young policewoman also beaten up. Yes. So I could see clear provocation to have police use their firearms and probably kill Mwananchi. Okay. I saw a lot, because if it is the police, okay, that are mad, let's accept, let's say the police are mad, the police are bad. Point made, Charles. Why, no. Why loot? Just a minute. No, my point is not made. Yeah. Why loot supermarkets? Okay, but allow me to ask you this then. Ask me. Yes. Why ban a magistrate's court? Okay. It's okay. Ask me. Yeah. Because you pointed out a lot of issues. By the way, it was never about getting bored. You can never get bored of this work. No, you could be bored. So factually, according to NACADA, Western region leads with the highest consumption of illicit brew with 53.9
7%, according to NACADA, not Central Kenya, as you had suggested earlier.
No, I've not said Central Kenya has the highest.
You had,
I said we have had complaints.
Yeah, the interlink was
Excuse me,
there.
we have had complaints.
Yes.
And it is clear and it is factual.
Yes. Just to give you that.
Just a minute.
Just on a
I've not
factual
said
note,
that it is highest.
Yes.
I've said we have had complaints of alcoholism to an extent that there were even concerns that we were not getting more children.
Yeah.
It's factual.
Okay.
It's not manufactured from me.
Okay.
And I have nothing against my brothers from
Point made.
Yes.
But Eric, is there a justifiable reason and how then do you respond? Shortly also we'll be getting hold of Senator Dan Manzo, who is joining us by way of phone here. But Eric, has Charles or the government offered justifiable reasons? And isn't this deliberate overlook of the 9 lives that were lost yesterday?
Ayub, I don't know how to respond to the callousness with which Charles has come here to look at Kenyans in the eye and to justify police excesses. First of all, it must occur to Charles that these protests or demos were in 27 of our 47 counties. They were not in Central Kenya only. But this is the government mindset, that everything that happens that appears to run them the wrong way is from Central Kenya.
No, I have to say.
No. I'm on my feet. I kept quiet when you spoke.
I mentioned Makueni.
I kept quiet when you spoke.
And you mentioned
Please, Charles, you will have your time. You will have your time. You will have your time.
Okay, just hang on. Charles, you mentioned Kiambu County,
yes,
Makueni County,
yes, and even Nairobi
County,
yes.
So allow him.
But you see,
allow him to
let him not give an impression. Let him not give an impression of only Central Province.
Charles.
So let him finish his point.
That is very wrong.
Let him finish his point. Yeah. We are here to have a civil
debate.
Yes,
Ayub,
proceed, Eric.
Ayub, you are hosting us to discuss a very serious matter.
Yes.
Ayub, you are hosting us to discuss loss of lives, destruction of property. I must say, no life should be lost. Every life is important. Not the life of a policeman, not the life of a civilian should be lost. And that is why I say when we come here, we should be sober enough to appreciate the subject for which you have invited us here. And I can tell you that, the lives that we lost were about fire-lit emotions by pro-government politicians and activists. I can't understand, for example, why the Honorable Kamket is not in police custody. Because, Charles, Ayub, without the utterances that are careless from the Kamkets of this world and the Osoros of this world, we would have had an otherwise very peaceful procession. I also dispute the assertion by Charles Owino that he has been in touch with the National Police Service. I appeared in your sister TV station the night before yesterday with Mr. Mushiri Nyaga, the spokesperson for the National Police Service. And it was a kikao. Mr. Mushiri Nyaga admitted on live television that police were in receipt of various notifications of those protests across the country and said enough machinery had been deployed to ensure it was as peaceful as possible. What training unique to Charles Owino did this sub-county commander in Meru go through that the overzealous ones did not go through? Because we saw a policeman, a sub-county police commander in Meru. Walking hand in hand with the protesters. No shot was fired in Meru.
Correct.
So, when we have overzealous ones who are acting at the behest of politicians who are warmongering, who think they are anointed by God to come and spew hate in the country, I think we must call it out. And Ayub, let me tell you, in my opening remarks, I said government responded as though there was a coup. I stand by that comment.
The army was out.
If government had gone the way of this officer in Meru, we would not be here. Right now, the figures being talked about, last night there were 9.
16.
I have seen Reuters reporting figures of 16 deaths now.
Hundreds injured.
And over 400, hundreds injured.
Yeah.
This is not what we want to talk about. Okay. Communications Authority is quoting an act of Parliament of 1998 in 2025.
Yeah. We'll talk about the Communications Authority. Ahmed, just hang on. Allow me to get to Senator Dan Manzo as well. Senator, good morning and thanks for making time for the broadcast. What do you make of yesterday's events?
Yeah, good morning, and thank you very much for inviting me to this discussion. I want to say that, you know, Kenyans, there has been a problem with the recent demonstration. And unfortunately, the law is never followed also by police. What happens the moment you allow or approve demonstrations under the Public Order Act, which is a 1956 law, there must be, you know, a way police deals with it. First and foremost, if you think a peaceful protest has turned riotous, a police officer in the rank of inspector should be able to give a proclamation loud and clear, probably using speakers, and then give people 15 minutes to disperse or to end the protest or the procession. And then after the proclamation, then now you may disperse, you know, the crowds. And similarly, there has been regulations, you know, through this act. Although what has happened, the other day I challenged the CS Murkomen when he came to Parliament of the death of Albert, and you know, he was unable to, you know, they have not been making regulations, they have not been updating regulations. In fact, the last regulations were made by Honorable Amos Wako when he was AG over 20 years ago. And although they were given some amnesty to review the regulations in another 2 years, there has to be regulations. So now you conduct, everybody conducts themselves in such, and therefore the law in place is good.
Okay.
What we'll be having politicized, you know, police officers, and some of them also, you know, from what they have said when they had abducted people. You know, everybody knows that abduction is an illegal thing. If you think I've committed an offense, whether in a protest, you arrest me and take me to court. You don't abduct. If not so, you don't kill. And then also get away with it. So there's been a problem. Although we've got some laws which are very fair, although that was a colonial edict.
Okay.
You've got laws which are very good. And therefore, what happened is the most unfortunate. We have officers like in Kitui and also in Meru. There were protests and the people are escorted by police. That's what is supposed to happen. But every time, instead of doing proclamation, you are fired at tear gas or there's a gunshot. And I have been in protests that I've seen that happen before. And you provoke the people unnecessarily. And when you provoke them, that's the time now they burn tires, they block highways, you know, and eventually, you know, people end up dying. And I think that's a culture.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Senator. Thank you. Ahmed, when we get back from the break, Charles and Eric, to you, we proceed with the conversation here on the broadcast, as well as welcoming the feedback from members of the public, you included, and we'll sample them in the course of this broadcast. After the break here on the broadcast, stay tuned.